Even by its usual standards, Emaar has had a very busy week. But what has founder and CEO Mohamed Alabbar been doing? To find out more, I'm here with Jeremy Lawrence, and you're watching Inside AB. So, Jeremy, I guess one interesting thing that happened was there was quite a lot of changes at the top level of Emaar. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, well, there was lots of interesting changes last week. It was a big one for Emaar. But firstly, yep, as you say, Emaar Malls has a new digitally focused CEO, they're describing it as. So current CEO Nasser Rafi, he's left the post. He's staying within Emaar Group, but going somewhere undisclosed. And coming in is Patrick Bousquet-Chavanne. I think I pronounced that correctly. He'll join as CEO, where he will focus on preparing our malls business for tomorrow's challenges and further increase our customers' trust, strengthen tenant relationships, and enhance the digital experience. That last bit's the most important part of the equation, because he worked at Marks & Spencer as Chief Marketing and Digital Officer, and he really helped position marksandspencer.com as one of the UK's foremost e-com sites. So that shows the current thinking at Emaar, what they want in that role.
And overall, how has Emaar Malls been performing?
Well, this is the thing. It's been doing well. It's, in April, they announced that 35 million people visited Emaar Malls in Q1 2018, which was 3% above the previous year. And also the announcement came on that same day that their profits were up from 149 million in Q1 2018 compared to 147 million the same period last year. So not up massively, but it's been going up. But as we know, Mohamed Alabbar is very, very digitally focused. That's why he's got all these e-coms players that he's invested in or started. So he wants to really position Emaar and stay ahead of the curve and make sure that he's in that digital space.
That's interesting. And what about Emaar Properties? There was also a shake-up there last week.
Yeah, sure. Big news there as well. So they've announced that they're going to raise $1.4 billion through a sale of non-core assets. That will be much of its hotel portfolio and a number of schools and healthcare facilities, according to a report that was in the UK's Financial Times. The FT added that Emaar's hired Standard Chartered and is nearing a deal with several parties. When Arabian Business Week contacted them, they said that the spokesman said, Emaar regularly considers various financing options as part of our strategy to streamline our businesses and generate significant value for the company.
And what about on them? How has Emaar Properties been performing overall?
Well, again, this is the thing. Emaar Properties has been doing very well. It recorded revenue growth of 1.52 billion in Q1 2018, which was a 37% increase over Q1 2017. Emaar's net profit rose 20% to 453 million prior to considering the effect of the Emaar Development IPO. And taking that development IPO into account, Emaar Properties Q1 net profit over the time period is 409 million, an 8.5% increase over Q1 2017. The point about all those figures is it's doing well, but Mohamed Alabbar still wants it to do better. And you would imagine that this is all about, as these different individual component businesses grow into significant entities in their own right, they want to separate them out, streamline the business, making them more standard. So they don't want to sort of mix it all up, because as it grows, that's just going to get too unwieldy.
And one thing about Emaar, I think for a lot of us in Dubai, we tend to forget that it also conducts a lot of business in other countries abroad. And there was some news from Egypt.
This was almost small fry compared to the other things that went on last week, but still significant in its own right. Emaar Hospitality announced the $84 million revamp that's just been finished of the historic Alamein Hotel in Egypt. It's now one of the finest resorts along the Mediterranean, according to Emaar. Now, more significantly, it's part of the residential and tourist flagship that Emaar is developing in Marassi, the company's flagship Mediterranean landmark in Egypt. And this includes several hotels already launched, such as Vida Marassi, Address Marassi Beach Resort, and Address Marassi Golf Resort. And it'll be home to 7 luxury hotels with up to 3,000 rooms. So the point about all this is Emaar obviously has a huge role in Dubai, but around the Gulf and beyond, it's also expanding its activities and its footprint.
And last but not least, this week and last week, we've been just talking about China a lot. Yeah. President Xi Jinping was here in the UAE. There was quite a lot of news related to China and Chinese business here in the UAE from Emaar, wasn't there?
Yeah, sure. You can bet that if it's good for the UAE, that it'd be good for Emaar and vice versa. So it's not surprising to coincide with China Week that Emaar would announce something major, and it announced 3 big things. Firstly, it will develop the Middle East's largest Chinatown at Dubai Creek Harbour, which is big, as we all know. It's a 6 square kilometre mega development, and it's going to have a lot of focus on China within that. Emaar also announced it will open 3 dedicated pavilions in China, in Beijing, Shanghai and Guangzhou, which are all cities that are served by direct Emirates flights. And it'll have 3 offices in those places to promote tourism, education, trade and investment between the 2 countries. And finally, it's going to expand its address hotels and resorts to China. Is in active discussions to operate those hotels in key cities in China. So Mohamed Alabbar, chairman of Emaar Properties, of course, said, the UAE and China share strong bilateral trade and cultural relations, which are bolstered by the presence of over 200,000 Chinese citizens who live in the UAE, and of course hundreds of thousands of Chinese visitors that the UAE welcomes every year, and that figure's growing. And we've also got the visa on arrival status that was granted to Chinese nationals by the UAE in 2016. So Mohamed Alabbar really keen to build on that to expand Emaar's businesses. Finally, some Noon announcements as well. Noon will launch 2 entities in China, one on the mainland and the other in Hong Kong, kickstarting Noon's Asia operations. And Noon, Alabbar said, has been working on the ground with local owners to further grow local partnerships, and they'll have a permanent office space soon in China. So again, he's very digitally focused, as well as all his hotels and his shopping malls, Mohamed Alabbar. So everything that he's doing, he wants to do that in China as well.
Interesting. Well, like you said, this was a very big week indeed. If you want more details about these stories, go to arabianbusiness.com. You're watching Inside AB. I'm Bernd de Bousman. I'm here with Jeremy Lawrence. Make sure to tune in every weekday at 10 a.m. and subscribe. Thank you.